for Makwaba and about a POG a platform. So you new and I say on subscribe to POG Political a platform and they do so I message so but your post subscription now I hit the notification bell no now we see a lot. And I saw how that's why me Makwaba so was our call now as our baby say POG man tell say J address and I just say updates and I just say yes so about highway no so yes so yem say be hinta a POG a abidja for nti as na say the babe so no matter the koso na ensembe na babetodwa tima betodwa e na no eye nkoma eye Rèáct can Afeny0 ekudi the current minority leader ewo eye mashebedwem kudi nkomo bi efa the Rèáct team no say omudwumadi a omudie no kamia koye say eye illegal aje say omfa emrakwan so na tese omudi eye sa adwuma na wena Rèáct team for no so edi nkomo efa sa asem ma mafo keka na say nkomo amafo odi so omudwumadi no eye illegal no sure mo say eye Rèáct John Dramani Mahama na amomo kwan na say on also not just say a Obama ma or power ebano the government side or power say obetimi so ashe amani part is on also a yomu so recover a japade bi ana say a sikapudu bi a bandada no a nipa bi omwom di omonsato so no na we na communimu no omo chese say obi a onu so de ne sabesi ni bo aka say illegal Rèáct team no jumedi illegal no almost so ebetimi so the abo the Supreme Court if it's the Supreme Court gate no yen too much say on so betimi abo the Rèáct na so ni oni pakro bo Rèáct no bo frɛ Rèáct team na nsuo mu wiemu almost so ebebo the Rèáct na almost so ababehi ensema was so mi ya no abusia let's be dreamer na yabo the Rèáct santi mi dasi
that is one of the reasons I even asked. I remember one of the first questions I asked. Are we going to be paid?
Oh, you asked that question?
Yes. Are we going to be paid? And they say, why did I ask? And I say, in that case, I don't want to be part of it.
Okay.
Because I've said that we create these institutions to be additional burden on the consolidated fund.
That is the argument.
If you have heard me say
yes.
that. So if it's a voluntary work, I'm ready to do it as a voluntary work. So as it is now, just as I come on your program at my own cost and go back at my own cost, it's the same thing I'm doing over there. I drive my own vehicle, fuel it, and go there and come back to my house.
No pecuniary benefit.
Nothing.
Maybe indirectly.
Like what?
Like
giving us a house?
No, nothing material. Okay, no, I'm not talking about anything.
Okay.
Like you have received. I don't know whether you have received the house recently. Yes, from any of these activities. Why do you think a lot of people are up in arms against your oral team?
That is the normal thing. Remember, the best form of defense is an attack. Anybody who thinks that this may lead to him or her being exposed will definitely attack. Let me take you down memory lane anyway. The hypocrisy in Ghana is a bit disturbing or nauseating, at least to say the least. If you remember, check, if you Google, you see either 25th or 27th of September 2017, the senior minister, the then senior minister, put up a notice that they have even engaged some foreign firms or foreigners to assist the government to not only collect data, but to even investigate and help in prosecution. Then it was okay. There was no problem. Those institutions were there anyway, but there was not a problem. This institution or this team, which is just collecting data, is a problem. So that is the hypocrisy we have in our country. And I had a call from someone that if the committee calls them, they should not come. And yes. Said, we have not even invited anybody.
Is some new members of parliament.
Yes.
The fresh crop.
Yes.
I suspect he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
One of them, I think he's in the press conference or response to a question.
Yes, yes.
That I'm not sure whether you people have actually engaged them or you have sought information from them or he's been a victim of one of those your verification or processes.
Validation
but he says
issues,
if
yes.
any former government official is called.
Yes.
But are you inviting people?
No. To the best of my knowledge, we have not invited.
Oh, that's the gentleman on the TV. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he's a Swami member of parliament. I think he replaces Osei Chairman Sabonsu. Yeah.
Okay. So we're not invited anybody, and we don't.
Darko, yeah.
And we have no intention of inviting anybody. It is, mind you, the publication went from the office of the then president-elect
yes.
to the public that if you have information, bring it to this team via this instrument or this means. They even put together a hotline and there is also a website, and there is an email. That is all we are using.
Now, this is interesting because the man's main claim, the Member of Parliament's main claim, is that you have no legitimacy to invite.
Yes.
But you are saying that it's not even part of your mandate to be inviting people in the first place.
Exactly. We have not even invited. So the issue does not even arise. But then if I remember the mantra from the government just about a year ago, less than a year ago, go to court, go to court. They should go to court.
How is that related to your work?
No, I'm trying to say that we are working and we are being told that we are operating illegally.
Yes.
The courts are not closed. They are still there. So they should go to court so that the court tells us that, no, guys, you cannot even collect information when people bring it to you. You shut down and go.
So that's what it takes for you to actually shut down?
Yes. We need a law. Otherwise, you are going to tell me that a day will come where you say, for wearing my smoke, which law allows me to wear smoke? Until something is prohibited by law, it's lawful from my point of view. Until there's a prohibition, either by a legislation or by a case in court with the judicial precedents. But if it is not, then one day you will say that, Daniel, you are being unlawful by wearing smoke onto my studio.
That would be preposterous, really. But I mean,
and this is equally preposterous.
The claim they're making.
Yes, very preposterous. But I don't see the point. You journalists,
yes.
What do? You go collecting data on abuses and ill practices or things all over, and you even publish it, don't you? Who has stopped you? But if we talk about collecting data on corruption, does anyone come closer to?
We are the fourth estate. You are not part of the.
We are fifth, maybe sixth estate.
Certainly, there isn't.
Remember, Kweku Asare drew your attention to the fact that the president is using the executive and administrative authority.
Okay. All right. So, but has the presidency gotten back to you on your role? Has there been, because there's been a lot of clamor around for you to be shut down permanently? Has the presidency shown any sign or hinted that you are likely to be shut down anytime soon?
No, I'm not aware of that. And I think we are on course. We have not deviated. And I will wish that if we want to go more into oral, then you better reach out to Okujeto, who is the chair of the press.
No, I get your point.
Because I don't speak for oral.
No, I get your point.
And you and I, we are agreed on some synopsis before coming.
I agree, but these are urgent matters of state.
But if I was told we are coming to spend half an hour on oral, I would have told you that I won't come.
We've not done a half an hour yet, but that's the most important part.
Yes.
The last question on oral is, have you collected enough information? When do you suspect that you will finish the preparatory work?
That is a big question. In fact, I was thinking that by now we should have finished. But every day the information keeps coming. In fact, I think yesterday I was asking my people, when will this thing finish? Even on my phone, apart from the direct lines that have been given or the hotlines that have been provided, people who know that you are, they keep sending information every now and then. So when it is going to finish, I don't know. Maybe Kweku Asare's Azaz's position may become the norm. He thinks oral should come and stay. It should be made permanent, not necessarily legislated. But there must be something like, he called it CCT camera on corruption. A group of people who we can report this thing to. The added advantage, which I forgot to mention, is that since it comes through us, go to maybe the presidency and go to the various institutions, they know that other people are aware of this offense.
Oh, I see.
How we get a point? It's different from you just walking to OSP or to Yoko and then
or report to the police and you not hear anything.
And you hear nothing. Yeah. But at least they know that even the office of the president is aware of this type of thing, which brings about better transparency in our fight against corruption.
That's an interesting perspective. Now, so you don't know when you will finish this work?
No, not at all. No. I doubt even if the president himself knows. Because if you see the quantum of data or information coming, you are like, should we cut it off at a point or we should just go on? But I think
But the president himself has a mandate of 4 years.
Yes. That is what Kweku said, that we should institutionalize it, say that it should go even beyond the president's term of office. But I think with time, we may have to look at how do we interface it into the existing institutions so that it becomes Because already some of the institutions, I think, have that mandate already. In fact, almost all of them should have that mandate to collect information. It is the non-doing of this which has occasioned this. So if they can become very effective, I'm sure the committee will happily wind up, because this is a voluntary service. Let me remind you.
It's on that point that I want to draw attention to. The NDC had quest to improve anti-corruption institutions as part of its manifesto coming into office.
Yes.
In fact, it was one of the things that they prioritized,
yes,
that they need to be sharpened and they need to be improved to carry out these mandates.
Yes.
Is that a realistic expectation? Sometimes we have seen how the work of not only the Auditor General, the work of Yoko, the work of even the OSP has been problematic. On one issue, for example, who has the competence and the legal backing to do lifestyle audit? Nobody is sure which institution is mandated with full powers to do lifestyle audits in this country.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that is where I think the call or the agenda to strengthen these institutions is very necessary. From my point of view, three things need to be done.
Okay.
One, we may have to look at the legal framework again,
okay,
and be sure that there are no loopholes anywhere. And where there are also duplications, where we think this is Yoko, this is so and so. In fact, my prayer actually is to combine some of these anti-corruption agencies, because, mind you, too many institutions take money away from us.
True.
We use the money. Can you imagine if we have to decentralize or get regional and district offices for OSP, how much money will be involved?
So like Media, I need a so I'm just like now I was subscribing to POG Political platform now, but your subscription now also the echo my Ghana political issues POG so now in some year bet you come here say ipadodo na mo kem no say bibi wo mo hide no mo na sha say ekika sanse mi na so omudi nkomo say oral team no omnumedi illegal message bet was so na yabo the ra sanse mi medase.
We are talking about 16 regions and 200 and something districts. But Yoko already has those
district offices.
Is that not it?
At least offices in various districts.
Yeah, in various districts.
Yeah.
So if we merge the mandate under one administration, it will mean that maybe we need to only add one or two staff here and there, and it will minimize the cost or the weight on the consolidated fund. So the legislation may have to be looked at. In fact, what constitutes corruption by itself is also a challenge. Some say, if you look at 29, it is narrowly defined to be restricted to bribe and alms giving, etc. And we think corruption must be properly defined, what constitutes corruption, and then that is addressed. Again, I have a concern with how to prove someone guilty of corruption.
I see.
Yes. If you go to some jurisdictions, just what Ethiopia has just done, they have done the reversed burden of proof. So once we can establish that this phone, Daniel, is yours, we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that this phone is for Daniel. Daniel, this phone is costing 10,000 Ghana cedis, and you earn only 200 Ghana cedis in a month. Then it is for you not to prove to us how you were able to procure that within 2 months or 3 months of your employment.
But is that not alien to common law?
Alien to common law, Ghana is not the only practitioner of common law. Even where it comes from, it is there. So many common law countries, including our sister country Nigeria, they are all doing this. So you see, when we talk about common law, I'm not a lawyer, but this is my opinion. Law must depend upon the exigencies of the time.
Yeah.
We cannot be practicing the law as it is today in the medieval days.
I get you.
Today that technology and knowledge has improved so much, the law must also equally evolve.
But we are mindful of the tendency or the ability or the opportunity for people to abuse it.
Yes.
So that if I'm sitting in my corner, then somebody comes that they suspect my tie is 9, so automatically I should prove where I got the tie from.
Fantastic.
I don't know if you get my point.
That is why I say there must be a legislation.
Part of the world.
If there is a legislation, it will have to give us what must occasion that. You just don't wake up and look at the guy and say, no, it seems Raymond is becoming richer than me.
True.
So it must be investigated. No. what should occasion or trigger such a lifestyle audit, I think, is very necessary. So the law must be looked at. The institutions must be looked at. We must see how are we resourcing them? How are they structured so that they can be more effective? And I've always advocated for merging some of these institutions. Then the voice from the top.
Before you move on,
yes,
we have YOCO. We have NIBs. We used to be BNI or so.
Yes.
In fact, we even have SFO before, you remember?
Yes, which is now the YOCO.
YOCO, yes. Then we used to have, not even before the SFO, the special branch.
Of the police.
Yes, there was a very specialized grouping, all doing various forms of investigation.
There's some unit there, FIC or whatever.
Oh, really?
It is.
No, the Financial Intelligence Center.
No, FFC or so, Financial something.
Oh, that's unit existing.
Yes, of the yes. So
which specific bodies do you want merged?
Exactly. I cannot sit here and say merge this and this. But what I'm just trying to say is that we must look at the organizational structure. One argument I keep persistently making is that organizational structure...
Really?
Yeah.
But some are of the opinion that you are already taking upon yourself mandates that you do not have. In fact, the very first conversation that's been happening now is you have no mandate in law at all. You have no basis. You just merely exist as an unlawful body.
I've had those conversations, and let me first put in a disclaimer here that I'm not speaking for the team.
True.
I'm speaking for myself.
True.
And from the best of my knowledge, what we are doing currently is within our mandate. And it is not within the mandate of only the team, but any Ghanaian, I think, has the right of deciding that I want to compile data on road traffic offenses or on robbery going on in the country, etc. I don't think that contradicts any law in the country. I stand to be corrected. But I'm waiting for someone to show me which law says that before you can collect data on abuse of state resources, public funds, and looting of the government properties, you need this law or that law. I've not come across one yet.
But is that all you're doing? Because some 8 hours ago, Samuel Okujeto-Ablakwa, who is part of this team, put out, Team Oral has inspected the North Labone state capture location where a property belonging to the Lomote Addo family was illegally demolished in 2024. A representative of the family, traumatized experience, was narrated to us how they lost their home and invaluable therein and their frustration. Even though the Lands Commissioner has claimed in a letter that they have made a mistake in allocating the land to the politically exposed cabal which carried out the demolition, you are on the ground inspecting places.
Exactly. What is happening, what happened, which people are looking at or reporting, is basically a validation mission. Okay. Because we cannot just sit in our office and Lomote family will say that they've destroyed our building. We put that into our report. And then the presidency respond to us and say, look, when we send someone there, there was no distraction. Nobody has taken the building.
The claim don't exist.
Guys, so we just want to validate and see if, especially those things that are physical, like building on government land, demolition of government buildings or things belonging to the state. So this is basically a validation mission. We have not investigated anybody or attempting to even prosecute anybody. We don't have those money.
Is there a thin line between this validation and investigation you're talking about?
Yes, there's a lot of investigation. Difference. Validation is basically going to see what is on the ground to confirm. If we were investigating, we were going to call all the parties, raise questions to get answers, etc. So you see, if you follow the media reportage, you see that there was a member of the family who was there when we were at the
seen the picture
who was making all those claims. It was not the team. We are not part. We were not there when the demolition, etc., were to be done.
One of the issues that's brought this to the fore is the immediate past NIB bosses matter.
Yeah.
It was in the View when he was explaining the things you are doing, the visitations, and the places you have seen, that a member of your committee had indicated that he had willingly returned what he considered to be a land unlawfully acquired. Immediately, he issued a rejoinder. His rejoinder was that he had not acquired any land unlawfully and had not done any such contacting with the team. This is what has become the, I don't know, the projector of the view that you are basically engaged in witch hunting as we speak?
No, I don't think so, because I think what I heard, if I heard it correct, was that a member of the committee said he has volunteered to return the land. He has volunteered to return the land. I don't find the SS over there. And of course, he said, I have not. And I saw, again, other media coverage showing documents to show that he bought the land at a lower prices, etc. So as for us, all that we are doing, I think, is just to collect data.
By so doing, are you accusing people of wrongdoing?
We are not accusing anybody. How can we accuse you even if you have not investigated you? Before we can establish any form of guilt or suspected guilt, we have to investigate. Being a former auditor, I think at least you credit me with investigation skills.
Yeah, generally.
To know that when you start investigation, especially an audit, your preliminary findings may be very different from your ultimate position, because that preliminary findings may be rebutted with other evidence. So we cannot accuse anybody. But then, where there's the problem, I think, lies is people are not able to differentiate between the validation mission of the team and the job that the national security, represented by P0sé, is doing. So when national security moves in, they say, we have no control over police.
Okay, I get your point.
Yes.
There's a difference between...
Yes, because whenever we find something and we think is untoward, we inform national security.
Okay.
And they take action. And they say, the team is... No, we don't do anything like that. We don't go that far.
Oh, no, I did not know that there was a national security team on the ground.
There is a national security coordinating team. Interestingly, P0sé is part of that team. And he's also part of the oral.
Ah, okay.
So he coordinates with his people and they take action.
I see.
And then we take all the blames.
And he's been appointed Director of Operations at the Office of the President as we speak.
As we speak, yes.
So it's actually
now he's wearing three hats.
Triple role that he's playing.
He's playing three.
Is that problematic?
I don't find
for you, as in other members, performing your role under oral?
I don't find it problematic. I think he is capable of doing them, and he's very discreet in the way I think he does his thing, so I don't see any problem there.
It is the view of Professor Akuffo that the president does not need a law to set up a committee to receive complaints of corruption, waste, or stolen public properties, because the Constitution and existing legal frameworks grant the president broad executive power to create advisory or investigative committees. He grounds it in some role, talks about the executive authority under the president, talks about administrative and advisory committees, existing legal and institutional frameworks, and no need for enforcement powers that you are supposed to be having. Because immediately, some people have even projected in the direction that the group ought to be formalized with the law, giving enforcement powers. What do you think about that call?
Well, they are right, because some people think that corruption has reached a point where we may not need to do exactly what we have been doing in the past. We should go the extra mile. Because remember, it was, I think, the biggest issue NDC put forward during the election. So if you would like to do business as usual, people think it may not be right. Personally, I'm one person. I'm not speaking for oral team.
Yeah.
I'm one person.
But as it saw J-Bre, now J-Penny, Edema, POG, political platform, no. Say, I'm rather saying, name if you political news, no, and Fangua, say, and also, let's say, the Akoso, oh my Ghana. Now, say, subscribe to POG political platform, and need your account, so I message over your subscription. Now, also, I hit the notification bell, no, said, on South West, my daily updates, no. Now, I share over for so, at me a card. That's all come to change, and I say, I don't change, so I'll wait me about area the comment section, or now I could do a compromise with you on a POG Media, and so you never be you a one. Medasi, so J-Bre, Edema, you best share with us.